Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This one is a Artix Entertainment dev interview, and I've got several AE members who I'm going to be interviewing in this video. I was also going to be interviewing Bot and Dage, but unfortunately I haven't heard back from them yet. Unfortunately, they were the ones that were going to be answering most of the player questions for AQ3D. Hopefully they'll all still be able to ask those questions once we get together. I'm also going to mention I did edit out some stuff like some of my responses or shortening some of the answers to allow for time, but I didn't take out any of the essential information. And I'll also ask you to keep in mind that this is not just about getting information on the games and stuff, but it was more to get a sense of who the developers are, the people behind the NPCs and the people that you hear about creating the game. The first person is Jongaar. Okay, so Jongaar does a lot of music for AQ3D, but you've also done music for other AE games, right?
Yeah. So I've done a couple different games. I'd say my main game that I do music for is probably AQ3D, but every once in a while I get to work on like an AQ World release or sometimes even Dragon Fable.
You've done stuff for Dragon Fable?
Yeah, a couple tracks. Not too many. I would love to do some more.
And you also did Dungeons and Doom Knights.
Yeah. So that was fun. That was definitely like one of those things. Like, never really worked with, 8-bit music and stuff before, but it was really fun. Artix invited me to be a part of that project, and kind of just hit the ground running and started from almost back to basics, square one. The original video game music. So that was great. That was a lot of fun. That was a good time.
What is your favorite animal?
My favorite animal? Oh man, that's a hard one. Okay. So there's like a couple. I really like snails. Snails are cool. I don't know why. I just think snails are cool. Okay. I also think pangolins are pretty cool. Like pangolins, they just are cool. They're armored. They're like, they're four-legged animals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're just cool. But I'd probably say like either a snail or a pangolin.
Okay, I would not have expected that. Why snails? Is there a reason behind?
Their aesthetic. Like, snails are cool.
Right. So how long have you been working with AE?
It's almost like an estimate at this point because, I kind of started here and did a few different things when I first started before really launching into the music. But I would say somewhere near almost 4 years now, about.
Wow.
I couldn't give you an exact date, but
okay.
Yeah.
And how did you get started working?
Yeah, so it's pretty interesting. It's kind of by fate. My favorite restaurant that I used to frequent all the time happened to be in the same plaza as Artix Entertainment is, and I was out there. I was having some dinner, just chilling at the sushi bar, and Artix actually ended up sitting next to me, and it was like a while back, so I'll try to recall and kind of condense it as much as I can. But somehow we started just conversating about I think it was like cryptocurrency or something, because that was like what everyone was talking about. And he invited me to come up to the lab, and we ended up chilling and just kind of becoming good friends. And over time, he invited me to, try my hand at making some soundtracks for the game. And now here we are today.
Wow, that's cool. So what is the game like? Do you play an AE game?
So I will say this: I probably play AQ3D the most when just kind of like not on like live. I play a lot on like our test servers,
right?
Just so we can figure out like how to like program or set up sound effects. That's been like goal number one right now. Just trying to get our sound effect playback like next level pretty much. But I would say AQ3D probably the most.
In AQ3D, the sandwich dungeon, there were actual sounds like vocals from a girl. So who was that girl?
Oh yeah. So for that boss, we wanted to do some voice acting. That's right. We actually had my friend Ashley do some voice acting lines. It was really cool.
So now, how did you get the vocals? How did you do that? Is that through a music track?
Yeah, so well, it was actually kind of funny. I was over at my friend's house, James's, and she's James's girlfriend, and we were hanging out, and I was like, "Hey, Ashley, would you want to try your hand at some voice acting? You want to give it a go?" And she was so about it. So my next course action was like, hey, we got to come up with some lines. We didn't know like what type of voice acting like a sandwich witch needs. So I think at the end of the day, we were just kind of experimenting in front of a microphone with just some kind of random like chants and stuff that we thought was, yeah, and that was pretty much how it went down. And she did great. She was amazing at it. Like it was really fun too, because we're all friends, and it was just really great. We could all kind of get together and make some cool stuff.
That's awesome. Having a vocal thing like that, does that open up a door to potential vocal dialogue at some point in the future, or?
Yeah, so that's something I've always wanted to do is kind of like vocal dialogues, and there's a lot of organization behind that. And I think the big challenge that we have is localization, because I know right now our games is pretty much in English. So the voice acting would limit only that to English as well.
Right.
But that being said, I know there has been a couple things recently where we have done some more voice acting. I can't say exactly what, but I know for some content we're working on right now, there's been a couple different people here doing some voice acting.
That's cool.
So we should expect some more of that in the future here.
That's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So you've done music for a long time. How did you learn music, and what was your first instrument?
I would say this: I'm still learning music.
Oh.
Every release, I try to work on something new, and I'm trying to just always expand and incorporate new like techniques and writing styles. So I wouldn't say I learned it yet, but still working on it. And I love doing it. But I would say how I got into music was I really enjoyed playing guitar. When I was like 13, 14, 15, and I started falling in love with these crazy metal bands that had like tons of background instruments, like complete orchestrations, like basically full orchestras, symphonic like death metal and stuff like that. And I was like, this is so cool. I got to learn how to make my own.
Right.
But you see these bands that would be pairing like guitar and drums and bass with like this crazy epic orchestral sound. And I'm like, I want to learn how to make that. So I spent like a couple years just, figuring out like, how do I make it in this situation? Like, how do I make symphonic death metal, or how do I make folk metal, or how do I make this crazy form of music? And in the time I kind of learned how to pick up writing parts for strings, woodwinds, brass, like how to make your choirs sit in a certain way. And again, that's why I said every release kind of just trying to push the boundaries more and more and learn and grow and kind of figure out how can I get this sounding like as legit and as epic as possible.
Okay, wow.
It's fun though. Yeah, it's like a puzzle. I always view it like a puzzle, and it's kind of like
trying to figure out how to do it.
Yeah. How are we going to put the puzzle this time? Well, we know we have these pieces. This is what the artwork looks like. This is what the animations look like. So we have these pieces here. Now, how do we assemble the whole puzzle? And kind of figure out the right instrument to score, and it's kind of just hit the ground running with it. It's so much fun. I absolutely love it, man.
That's awesome. So what advice would you have for players that are wanting to get into music creation, like when it comes to like the video game industry, or maybe just in general?
It's kind of a hard one. But I would say something that I would really recommend everyone to do would be to pick a digital audio workstation, like a DAW, whether it be Reaper, Logic. I mean, if you have Pro Tools or Cubase, those are fantastic too. These are, again, just programs. But
okay, I've heard of Cubase.
Okay, yeah, Cubase is a great one. I don't use Cubase myself, but it's really, really high quality. Like, it's actually like the original DAW. Anyway, to get back to it, but if you wanted to get into making music, get familiarized with these programs. Like, pick one. For myself, I use the program Reaper, and I find that program is awesome. You can pretty much almost everything that I create is with Reaper. So you can do so many different things, but I'm not trying to sell the program. But anyway, download one, start to learn it, start to figure it out.
Right.
And see, just get familiarized with it, because in no time you'll be able to start making music, and even sound effects, like cinematics. You can edit whole films and stuff with some of them. It's incredible.
The music that like for instance, I'll use Dungeons and Doom Nights. Okay, so you did a music album for that. Now I've seen people ask, will the music that you're doing, let's say for instance, the ones that you've recently done for Darkon
Yeah.
in AQ World, will that be available for download or for purchase, or do you know if there's going to be options for that in the future?
So I will say this. I'll reveal this here. We are trying to put together we are putting together an album for all the custom tracks we did for Darkon and his saga over the past year, which was so much fun. It was amazing. Essentially, we're trying to grow Artix Entertainment music streaming kind of like as a platform. So one thing I've always thought would be awesome to do would be able to get our soundtracks like up on Spotify and Apple Music, YouTube, and pretty much everywhere. But one thing we're trying to really do is grow this, our listeners, bring up our basically just audience. To me, I think it is so incredible that people want to check this out and they're supporting it. Like, I cannot thank everyone who has listened to our latest Dungeons and Doom Nights album. Like, seriously, from the bottom of my heart, it's awesome seeing it grow. And everyone who's kind of just checked it out, I just can't thank you enough for the support.
Broom Tool did some work, right, on Dungeons and Doom Nights. Yeah.
Broom Tool was amazing. He's like kind of like my partner in crime at the office, and we're working together. We do a lot of projects. Broom Tool did an amazing job mixing and mastering a lot of that album, and he painstakingly recorded me playing guitar throughout the metal remix, and he's always just kind of been there helping out. Like, it definitely would not have been possible without him.
All right, so I have one last question. What is your favorite color?
Oh, my favorite color? Oh my goodness. Okay. This one's kind of a hard one too, just like the favorite animal. But I mean, honestly, I like the color blue a lot. It's pretty chill. It's pretty, like, I guess, expected to like the color blue. But I mean, I would say like blue, or I don't know, maybe black. No, I'm just kind of like the most brutal color. I guess I'm just one of those people who are like, okay, I guess I kind of have a favorite color. Don't really know exactly, what's my go-to, but I feel like it changes every couple years.
So, yeah. Well, all right. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate that. You answered all the questions.
Sick, man. Yeah, thank you so much, for having me. Again, this is awesome. I really appreciate you reaching out to me, and I had a lot of fun kind of talking and, hanging out. It was good. It was good chatting, man. And I just thank you again, seriously, for inviting me.
Next interview is Spider. Spider is a developer for AQ Worlds, and you're also working on AQ 2D, right?
Yeah, I'm working on it in the background, but I'm not really hands-on yet.
First real official question, what is your favorite animal?
It's a tough one.
That's what Jongaar said.
Yeah, I don't really think about my favorite animal every day, so I'm gonna guess a cat, because I have 2 cats.
Nice. Okay, I've got one myself. How long have you been working for AE officially?
Officially, for since last July of last year, so like July 2021 was when I first started working with them.
How long were you playing AQ World before you started working with them?
Probably somewhere in the year of 2007, or maybe even earlier. Oh. I think my cousin showed me the game. It was a browser game. It was an Adventure Quest Classic. And then I hopped on to Dragon Fable shortly after. I didn't know about the design notes, so I could have helped out on the AQ Worlds beta and alpha testing. But just because I didn't know that design notes existed, I never found out about it. So I was a bit sad about that, because this leads to another funny story. When AQ Worlds became officially released,
right,
7 days after it was officially released, I found out about the Star Sword, and I found out that it was located in Swordhaven. The shop was there, right, in the same area as Robina and Artix, right?
Right.
Every day I would log in, check Swordhaven to make sure if the shop has returned, just to try to get the Star Sword, and I've been doing it consistently. And I don't remember when I stopped, but I just kept going on and on every single day, hoping for the Star Sword to come back.
Holy cow!
Yeah, I remember watching those YouTube videos with people getting Star Swords, and I was like, oh man, I want one.
Yeah, actually, I remember that too. What is it you like about AQ Worlds? Like, what drew you into the game?
It was mostly for the ease of access. Like I was able to just launch a browser and hop on the game just
Jump
like
right
that
in.
instead of having to download. I was really scared to download things as a kid. So
Okay, same.
I was very scared of viruses at the time. So seeing these browser games where I don't have to download anything made me feel relieved. So I
Okay.
would be able to just log in and play. It's similar to other games like Club Penguin and Pop Tropica at the time. I would play those too.
Club Penguin. Yep.
Yeah. Um, I think one reason I stayed with AE games was the fact that there was progression and the fact that I could customize my character to however I wanted it to look.
Right.
Those were big things. Those things heavily influenced me because today I'm still trying to find new games where it has those similar systems.
Right.
But yeah, I'm just so far unsatisfied with what I found.
Okay. Okay. What would you like to see added or changed / improved in AQ Worlds in its current state?
Personally, I know this is not gonna pass whatsoever, but I've always wanted to change AQ World's combat to be more action combat. Like if you're familiar with Zio's Stick Quest, do you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to make basically that combat into AQ Worlds,
my
but
goodness.
I know that's not gonna pass because that's a big game changer to the entire game. It's gonna change how the game feels, everything. So
Right.
it's not if I were to add that, it would have to be in a new game.
What's another game you play besides AE games?
I hop games from time to time.
Oh, okay.
The games I play very casually are with friends, like League of Legends or Valorant. On my own, I like to play Ready or Not, that game on Steam, where it's like SWAT 4, but
Right.
it has like updated graphics. One game that I'm thinking about playing a lot is Black Desert, mostly because of their combat. I really love how their combat feels.
Oh. So what advice would you have for people that are trying to get into like programming or the game industry?
To be honest, I didn't really expect to be going into the game industry. That was the very last thing that was on my mind.
Ah.
I just programmed for the fun of it. There was a mod in Minecraft called Computer Craft, and that was what really sparked my interest in programming.
Whoa. Wow.
And the more I played with that mod, the more I developed a programmer's mindset. And because of that, I started to get more into programming. So it was because of that is
Wow.
why I delved into programming. This was a very very old, around somewhere around 2008, I think, was when I was playing Dragon Fable, right? And I started getting interested in cheating Dragon Fable, like making cheats for it. So I started looking into that. There wasn't really any guides or tutorials. There was this one obscure YouTube video on like how to make a cheat for Dragon Fable in Visual Basic. So that's where I first initially started doing anything programming. And then once I got into that, I got the idea, I got the gist of what programming feels like at the time, I guess. But I wasn't that interested in it yet.
Right.
It wasn't until, much later when just how I just talked about Computer Craft, right?
Right. And
Right.
that's when you got into programming, started pursuing
Exactly.
it. And so you never
Yeah.
expected that to actually amount to, I mean, you would have never thought this is going to lead to me working at a game company or anything.
No, never. The working at a game company was the last thing on my mind.
Right.
I was actually trying to decide what I wanted to do with my with my life until Alina messaged me, and then that's when all this happened.
Wow. Do you have a special item or a favorite item in AQ Worlds?
I'd say it's the Leprechaun class because that brings me back to the time in my early AQ Worlds days where I had two best friends in AQ Worlds. They don't really play anymore, and I haven't ever seen them since.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's been a long time. I still remember their usernames. It was NB7 and 4RCE. I remember getting the Leprechaun class with them in 2008 St. Patrick's Day, or was it 2009? Can't
Oh, wow.
remember.
Going back.
Yeah,
a long
yeah.
way.
Yeah, I remember playing the game with them, and we were getting the Leprechaun classes together. And then we'd go to other places like Crash Site, try to kill the the boss with the armor or the
Okay.
class. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
So
remember those days.
yeah, so that item specifically holds a lot of memories for me.
Okay. Oh, nice, nice. So here's one last one from me. There's going to be some player questions, but last one from me. What is your favorite color?
Dodger blue.
Now, this is a player question, but this isn't from any specific person, as I've seen this asked by multiple people. I mean, maybe you might not know the response, but will AQ World ever get a higher level cap? It's currently capped at 100.
I don't make those kinds of decisions, but personally, I don't think it'll get an increased cap because first of all, we're in a phase where we have to move everything from AQ Worlds to 2D, right?
Right.
So it'd be even more chaotic if we change something like that right now.
Right. Okay. I agree. Here's a question from Corey. He's asking about a cosmetic slot.
I wrote a design notes blog about how we were gonna tackle this, and of course, many people have seen it already. We're going from house system to the inventory rework, and we're pretty much already done with the house rework stuff. So we're moving on to the inventory rework stuff, which includes cosmetic slots, outfit sets, outfit slots, and some other stuff that I can't remember at the top of my head.
Whoa!
But
So we got some big stuff coming.
Yeah, but it takes like a while because we have to think on the system, because when we implement it, it's implemented, right? So we can't make any regrets, so we have to take our time with it.
Right. Yeah.
As for the cosmetic slots, that's really been asked a lot. I've seen that everywhere.
Okay.
And I know they want it to be just like AQ3D system.
Yes. I've seen a lot of people referring to when they mention it, it's always because of AQ3D.
The way we're tackling it is we're not going to implement it the same way as AQ3Ds or Dragon Fable system, where you just go into your inventory and then press show to show the weapon, right?
Okay.
The end goal is that you will be able to wear your boost that you want with whatever item art that you want, but it won't be the same system as AQ3D or Dragon Fable system.
Someone here, PSN, is asking, do you play Genshin Impact?
Oh, when that game first came out, I actually tried to play it, but I didn't really like it because you couldn't really customize your character. That AE games really spoiled me with that one, so I can't really play games. Well, I can play some games with without any character customization, but when it comes to like these progression kind of games, like RPG kind of games, I can't go on without any customizations.
This person here, Alicia, asks if there's any plan on adding an overworld chat. You know, like in the world maps, like an overworld, so they can find parties and whatnot.
Like cross server?
Yeah.
We did want to look into that, I believe, sometime in the past, but because we're running on really old hardware, you know, because Adobe Flash, it's not that feasible at the moment. I'll make sure to bring it up when we're developing 2D, because that's something I've always wanted to have as well.
Right.
To instead of just, you know, being forced to go into a low populated server and not being able to talk with anyone.
Exactly. Why is the back arm and leg blacked out? This person's asking. Vaytora is asking, why are they blacked out? Why isn't the character standing in full color?
I think I asked that question in the past, and I believe they gave me the answer that it was like an artistic choice from someone. I think it might have been NoGaf. I think what they're going for, I'm not sure if this is 100%, but I believe they decided to black out the back part to make it easier for the artist to create items.
Oh, I see. Person here, Tomax, is asking if it's ever possible to buy back non-AC items.
No, I don't think that's possible at all.
Okay, well that covers the questions. Thank you so much.
No problem.
The next interview is Nythera. So Nythera works for Artix support. Now, is that what you call it?
So I am the support lead for Artix Entertainment,
Okay.
and we used to be called the Help Team way back in the day, and the Help Zard when we only had the original Adventure Quest. But through the years, we've kind of evolved, and it's better kind of to use the word Artix support, since that's kind of the language we use, like for our help pages and stuff like that.
Okay. So
Yeah.
first official question, what is your favorite animal?
A fox.
Wow, really? Okay, right. So right off the bat, you know what? I've asked other people that, and they had to think about it. They were like, that's a interesting question.
Foxes, like, personally have always been, like, my favorite, but of course I love dragons, close second, and love cat. Those are probably,
Okay.
Yeah, those are the top three.
Okay, awesome. So how long have you been working with AE?
In March of this year, it was 16 years.
And how did you get started?
Well, I originally came from retail management. Okay. So already was doing, the customer service thing for probably about 8 years or so. And I had a friend of mine who was playing Adventure Quest. And so we were checking out Adventure Quest, and, I've always been like a gamer. So I'm like, oh my gosh, this is really cool. And he knew that I was like kind of looking for a new job. I kind of wanted to get out of retail, but I really liked helping people and helping customers. And he mentioned he had a friend who needed an assistant, and that friend was Nythera. So I ended up seeing the job post, and so I applied for it. I had to go through all the proper, protocols and stuff and have an interview, and I was chosen for the job.
Wow.
And so I was her assistant for several years, and when she had eventually left to pursue other interests and stuff, we're actually still really close friends to this day. And so I became the support lead. That was in 2010.
It's interesting hearing the origin stories.
Yeah. And, support's always been a pretty small team. But most people that have worked in our team end up staying for at least 5 years or longer.
Wow.
Yeah. And I know, like, Artix Entertainment, we've always been like a great stepping stone. If, we're this indie game company, and if someone wants to go on and work for like a larger company, we've always been really honored to kind of introduce them to the game industry, and so they can see if that's something that they would like to do as a career, or stick with us, which we've had many people stick with us for years.
Okay, that's awesome. What advice would you have for someone who's interested in getting into like customer service or player support, that line of work?
So we usually would definitely like and prefer some customer support experience, just because our customer support can be a little different than, say, from retail or whatever, because it is online support, not face-to-face. And we do primarily do, email/ticket support. So if you don't necessarily have to, but usually I would like them to have at least some skills in that field. And we always look for people who are just, really positive and really want to help people.
If someone is to contact player support, what should they include in the report to make your job easier?
That's a great question. So we use Zendesk, which is a great program. It has a ticketing system, and it has a help page, like a help center. Unfortunately, it does have limitations to what we can ask for. And of course, we don't want to ask for, 10 pieces of information, and then someone's like, gets discouraged and then doesn't contact us at all. Right. But the number one reason people do reach out to support is for account help. And, the first thing that we really need to do is we need to confirm you're the owner of the account that you need help with. So usually we'll, ask for, email address. We look at your location, and there's other information we can ask for if available, such as if they made payments, if they've ever linked any other game accounts, stuff like that. Yeah, so that's primarily information we need. And then once we can confirm account ownership, then we can actually get to the root of the issue and what they need help with.
Now, you have an NPC in several AE games, but you don't have one in AQ3D. Is this going to come at some point?
I hope so. So Nythera did start out in Dragon Fable. If you or anyone else do remember the Nythera versus Warlick stuff, that was super fun. And then she, of course, was added to AQ Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a really awesome wedding event. But I would love to be in AQ3D. I'm not exactly sure if I would want my character to be like the same, class, personality, and everything as she is in the other games. I do want her to be close to that, but I think it would be really fun if maybe she went into a different direction, or we can see what the AQ3D team might want her to be in. Maybe,
I see.
Yeah, because there is always that the villains that are in the void or in chaos, and she's a void mage, so there's really a lot you can do with that,
right?
And it almost would be kind of fun if she was more a villain, or had some just kind of really cool story that would have like a really good integration into the main story of AQ3.
Oh, that would be interesting. So this would be a whole different take on her lore.
Maybe.
Could be.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting.
I'll go poke, Jurgen and Zoom and Oishi and everyone. Blaze, like, hey, ready to be added to the game. I mean, but, it does take so much, to even add an NPC in the game.
Right.
Because it's a 3D cross-class platform game. So
right. Yeah.
It'll probably be a little bit, until we can figure out what her role in the game would be.
Right. Okay. Do you have a special item or a favorite item in AQ Worlds?
Not really. I mean, there's so many amazing items.
I know.
I really, before I had my outfit created in AQ Worlds, I loved the witchy stuff. I always thought that was really cool. I love Halloween and stuff like that. So usually if I'm not out, in the game sporting my outfit, I am all dressed up like a witch, just because that stuff looks so cool. And
I have one last question for you. What is your favorite color?
Well, I guess it would obviously be purple. I do like black too. But yeah, purple and black are definitely my favorite colors.
Well, thank you very much for taking time to talk to us and answer those questions. I love hearing origin stories, so it's interesting hearing how people got started with AE, and so yeah, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So there we go. That is it for this video. I'd like to thank everybody featured in this video. That is it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you in the next one.